Back at the University of St. Francis, it's halftime. And we're just about a minute away from the start of the second half. 51-26, Holy Cross leads the Fighting Saints. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call for today's game. It hasn't gone the Saints' way so far. It has certainly gone the way of Holy Cross. They're also the Saints, but we'll leave that point aside for now. Holy Cross shooting 65% from the field. They've gotten incredible contributions from Trayvon Brackett, 6 of 7 for 14 points. Jamari Washington, 5 of 5 for 10 points. And Storm Cook, who's missed 4 shots but has made 5 of them. All of his attempts have been beyond the arc. He's got 15 points to go along with 4 assists. As for St. Francis, it's been a one-man show. Ian Morrison has 13 points on 5 of 6 shooting. The rest of the team, 13 points on 6 of 21 from the field. So you take Morrison out, everyone else combined is shooting only 29%. St. Francis is a team that's shooting 41% overall, and just 11% from beyond the arc. They're 1 for 9. Just a 29% three-point shooting team for the year. And that's not getting any better today. Holy Cross, on the other hand, 8 of 14 on three-point attempts. They've been good pretty much whatever they've done in this game so far. It's been a fairly clean game in that there haven't been very many turnovers. Only 3 for Holy Cross, 5 for St. Francis. There have not been many fouls, only 4 for each team. Actually, I mentioned early in the first half that Saints had a little bit of an advantage in that Holy Cross had committed 3 fouls in the first 3 minutes, and maybe they could make some hay at the free throw line, but Holy Cross committed only 1 foul over the final 17 minutes of the half. Holy Cross has the ball to start the second half. They've used up 17 seconds so far. 5 starters are on the floor for Holy Cross as Pietro Badalassi nearly took that one away. 3-pointers off the mark from Jimenez. And St. Francis will get their first possession of the half. Pietro Badalassi, Terrion Howard are out there, along with 3 of the starters, Ryan Peter, Ian Morrison, and Antonio Hughes. We got a foul away from the ball on Trayvon Brackett. He grabbed Pietro Badalassi, first foul of the second half. It's the second foul on Brackett. Here's Badalassi, posting up on Brackett, getting inside, throwing up with the right hand and in. Badalassi's got 4 points in the game. Did not start today for the second straight game. Ryan Marks shifted around the lineup a bit, starting Hayden Witt, Jalen Jones, and Ryan Peter, who usually come off the bench. Doesn't necessarily mean those are the guys who are going to be getting the big minutes. It's not the way it worked against Trinity Christian on Wednesday. Storm Cook inside to Jamari Washington. Back out to Jordan Gaines, pull-up jumper, does not get the roll. Rebounded by Peter. Both Jordan Thornton and Pietro Badalassi on Wednesday came off the bench to score in double figures. So Marks was hoping to pull off something similar today, have those guys ready to provide a spark in reserve. Badalassi gets himself underneath and scores with the right hand. He has scored the first 4 points of the second half, and the Saints' deficit is down to 21. Here's Brackett driving with the right hand. Brackett blocked by Ian Morrison. Fighting Saints have come out of halftime fired up. They've scored the first 4 points, all of them Pietro Badalassi. See if he can add a few more here. Badalassi whips it across to Peter. Now inside Ian Morrison. Morrison blocked by Robbie Jimenez. The ball poked ahead to Trayvon Brackett, going up against Howard, and an easy layup for Trayvon Brackett. What a big turn of events right there. The Saints had taken the momentum. They had Ian Morrison in the post, and a block shot led to a breakaway on the other end. That extends Holy Cross's lead. Morrison double teamed. Out to Howard for 3. Good. That's the way you draw it up. In fact, that's the way the Saints would like to have played all year. They just haven't had the shooters. Ian Morrison draws so much attention when he touches the ball inside. Freed up Howard for a wide open 3-pointer. Second made 3 ball of the game for the Fighting Saints. There's a 3-pointer for Jimenez off the mark. Holy Cross has come out of halftime a little bit cold shooting wise compared to where they were in the first half, certainly. Terrion Howard over to Ryan Peter. High post, it's Ian Morrison. Hand off to Peter, right back to Morrison. Morrison throws it low for Badalassi, who scores. Morrison picks up the assist. Badalassi had 2 points at the break. He's got 8 now. And a timeout called by Holy Cross. Mike McBride, head coach, wants to nip this St. Francis run in the bud. They have come out of halftime playing good basketball, outscoring Holy Cross 9-2 over the first 3+ minutes of the half. And the reverse from the first half has been true. Saints were shooting just 41% at halftime. They've gone 4 of 5 from the field since then. Holy Cross was shooting 65% at halftime, and they are 1 for 5 to open up the second half. Their one basket was a breakaway off of a blocked shot. Led to Trayvon Brackett getting an open layup. He's got 16 points to lead all scorers. Impressively for St. Francis, this run to open the half has come without Ian Morrison doing any of the scoring. Morrison took just 1 shot and it was blocked. Scored 13 of the team's 26 points in the first half. Gaines, pass for Jimenez is taken away. Peter deflected it over to Terrion Howard, and Jordan Gaines takes it right back. Walking the tightrope to stay in bounds there. Storm Cook over to Jordan Gaines, right side. Back to Cook. Jimenez to Gaines. Cook thought about the deep three. Instead, they'll pass it off to Jimenez down in the corner. There's a drive and kick, 3-pointer for Storm Cook. Short this time, but an offensive rebound for Jamari Washington. Holy Cross not hitting the threes at the rate they were in the first half. That was Storm Cook's first attempt after going 5 of 9 over the first 20 minutes. Now Cook drives, dishes, deflected, out of bounds. It'll stay with Holy Cross. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Jordan Gaines, the inbounder here. Up top, he's got Storm Cook. Brackett right back to Cook. Cook drives, lays it up, no good. First 2-point shot attempt of the game for Storm Cook, and it doesn't go his way. So he's now shooting under 50% for the game. Morrison working against Washington, but he traveled. Nate Miller comes on for Storm Cook. First rest of the game for Cook. This is Miller bouncing it to Washington. Outside Jimenez, open 3, got it. Third 3-pointer of the game for him. Antonio Hughes drives, draws the foul, and gets set to head to the line. Antonio Hughes has done a pretty nice job of getting to the basket. Hasn't been able to finish as consistently, but he's been setting things up for the Saints today. He's got 2 foul shots here, 0 of 2 from the line so far in the game. And he's 0 for 3. Foul's called on Jordan Gaines, his second. It was the team's second as well. 21-point deficit for St. Francis. 14:46 to play in the game. Antonio Hughes now 0 of 4 shooting free throws today. Here's Miller. Back to Gaines. Jordan Gaines drives, dishes down low to Washington, but he's called for the charge. Nice work by Badalassi to stand in there and take it. Third foul on Jordan Gaines, and he heads out. Storm Cook right back in there after sitting for just a minute. Jordan Thornton is in for St. Francis. Now that Jordan Gaines is checked out for Holy Cross, the Jordan quota had not been reached, so Ryan Marks goes right back to Thornton. Ryan Peter takes a seat. Antonio Hughes over to Pietro Badalassi. Now left side, Howard thought about the three. Well covered by Cook. Hughes inside the three-point arc, loses the ball, gets it back, and throws it outside to Jordan Thornton. 7 on the shot clock. Morrison in the post, working against Washington. Up with a right hand and in. 15 for Ian Morrison, his first 2 points of the half. Washington in the paint. Kicks it outside to Storm Cook. Right back to Jamari Washington. Driving on Morrison. Morrison is able to tip that one, I think, and prevent Washington from getting it to the hoop. There's Terry and Howard. Saints trying to extend their run. Badalassi gets the pass from Howard and lays it in. From Jordan Thornton, rather. Jordan Thornton picks up the assist. And Badalassi is in the double figures with 10 points. 17-point deficit. Saints still in this thing as they come away with a steal. Hughes tips it ahead to Thornton. Jordan Thornton on the run, out of control, and he misses on the runner. Holy Cross takes it the other way. Trayvon Brackett over to Miller. This is Cook, back to Nate Miller. Into the corner, Brackett, guarded by Hughes. Out to Jimenez. Swung around to Storm Cook, who fakes, drives, shoots the two. It rims out, rebounded by Morrison. Saints push it ahead. Thornton, down low to Badalassi. Badalassi throws it away. He was looking for Antonio Hughes. 12:30 to go, second half. We've got a timeout on the floor. Holy Cross 56, St. Francis 39. Fighting Saints trying to hang around. More basketball to come. We'll take a quick break. Holy Cross still on top by a substantial margin. 56-39 is the score. Things have turned around a little bit, though, since halftime. St. Francis shooting the ball much better since the half. They've gone on a little bit of a run. They were down at halftime by 25 points. So to cut it to 17 is a good start. Still a long way to go here as they get set to come out of the timeout. Ian Morrison leading the team with 15 points. Pietro Badalassi has joined him in double figures with 10. 3 double-digit scores for Holy Cross so far in this game, and Robbie Jimenez is right there as well with 9. St. Francis is going to make a couple of changes to the lineup before coming out of the timeout. Garrett Jackson, Hayden Witt are going to check in. They'll be on the floor with Terry and Howard. Jordan Thornton and one other. I didn't see the fifth yet, but we're going to have a little bit of a delay yet as a timeout has been called following the media timeout. Another timeout called, so a little bit longer break here. St. Francis 7-10 in conference coming into play today. Haven't really been able to get on a roll. They won back-to-back games against Indiana South Bend and Judson January 10th and 13th. And then they had a lead late against St. Xavier on January 17th before fading down the stretch and falling 85-73. That was the start of a 4-game losing streak. But those games on the 10th and 13th of January, the only back-to-back wins this year for St. Francis. Trying to do it today, but a lot of work still to do there. Now, game against St. Xavier was really one that turned the season around in a negative way because it seemed like they were starting to get into a rhythm. They had a lead in the second half on their way to a 3rd consecutive victory. They lost that and haven't really been able to bounce back from it entirely since. Still, St. Francis just one game out of the number 8 spot in the conference. That would get them a spot in the conference tournament. Miller over to Cook as we continue play. Back to Nate Miller. Throws it off of Hayden Witt's foot. Ryan Peter, by the way, the 5th player on the floor that I didn't mention during the timeout. Howard Thornton, Witt, Jackson, the other 4. It's Brackett, Washington, Miller, Jimenez, and Cook out there at the moment for Holy Cross. This is Storm Cook firing to Trayvon Brackett. One dribble, goes up and misses. I think Ryan Peter got his hand on that ball. Forced the awkward shot. Peter into Jackson. Garrett Jackson kicks it out to Terry and Howard. Now Jordan Thornton lobs it low for Hayden Witt and gets it right back. Peter with 10 on the shot clock. Witt at the top. Terry and Howard drives, gets inside, lays it up. No, Jackson tips the rebound but can't secure it. Storm Cook comes out of the fray with the ball. Jimenez down into the corner to Washington. .11 to shoot. This is Brackett. Right side, Nate Miller. Cutting Jimenez, gets to the hoop and lays it in. Good patience on that possession for Holy Cross. Jimenez is the 4th double-digit scorer for Holy Cross. They've got 4 players averaging in double figures, and they've all hit those marks today. They haven't all hit their averages, but they've all hit double figures anyways. Hayden Witt misses the 3, but the long rebound goes out to Ryan Peter, who throws it away, but Saints gets a break as Jamari Washington is called for a foul. Peter threw it up high for Garrett Jackson, too tall for Jackson, but he got a shove in the back from Jamari Washington as he tried to leap up to make that play. It's the 4th foul on Holy Cross. Saints have not been called for one yet. Fighting Saints, that is. Thornton, step back, 3-pointer. Good, Jordan Thornton. That's a big one for him. His first 3 points of the game. Saints have outscored Holy Cross 16-7 so far in the second half. Jimenez to Miller. Nate Miller bounces it to his right and Storm Cook. Jimenez for 3. Comes up short, long rebound, deflected, and Hayden Witt finally picks it up. Good hustle by the Fighting Saints there. Thornton will try another 3. Well short this time, and rebounded by Washington. That was a quick shot from Jordan Thornton. Hit the last one. He thought he was getting into a groove. Didn't want to waste any time, but it did not pay off. Here's Storm Cook all alone in the corner, but he misses a 3. He's gone ice cold after a red-hot start. Thornton flying to the hoop, misses off the glass, rebounded by Witt. Witt is blocked, but fouled. Hayden Witt goes to the free throw line as Brackett is called for his 3rd foul. Witt just a 59% free throw shooter, but hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities. This is his 18th attempt of the year, and it goes. Antonio Hughes in for Ryan Peter. Bryce Croson back in, along with Jordan Gaines for Holy Cross. Witt goes 1 of 2 from the line, and Croson pulls in the rebound. 15-point game, just under 10 minutes to play. Jamari Washington loses the handle, gets it back. Washington against the double team. Timeout called by Holy Cross. Washington was stuck, and the only way out of it was calling the timeout, allowing the team to reset. 16 seconds on the shot clock when they come back on the floor following the 30-second timeout. Holy Cross struggling with their shooting. They have scored just 7 points in the second half, nearly 11 minutes in. After they put up an impressive 51 in the first half. Really nothing's falling from the outside right now. Storm Cook, who couldn't miss in the first half, has not been able to score since the break. Robbie Jimenez had a wide open three-point attempt a few minutes ago, and that didn't go for him, although he has played well in the second half. Jimenez, by the way, a 46% three-point shooter. Not a guy you want to leave open outside, but he missed on his last attempt. Back on the floor, ready to go. Holy Cross ball with 16 to shoot. Jordan Gaines gets it in, and Nate Miller. Good ball movement here. It's Croson with 8 on the shot clock. Croson at the top, hands it off. Now Jimenez to Gaines. Gaines going up over Morrison. He scores. 6 points for Jordan Gaines. Antonio Hughes on the outside. Passes off to Terrian Howard. Howard gets the screen. Pulls up at the free throw line. Nice fake. Now he fires to Pietro Badalassi. Croson and Washington got tangled up. Both fell down. So either Badalassi or Morrison were open inside, and it was Badalassi making the uncontested layup. He's got 12. Jordan Gaines hands it off to Jimenez, and he's fouled by Howard, a hand check. First foul of the half on St. Francis. It's the first on Terrian Howard. It's only the 5th foul committed today by the Fighting Saints. Ryan Peter comes in for Jordan Thornton. Miller picks up his dribble, passes it off to Gaines. Down low, Croson dribbled it off of Pietro Badalassi's foot and out of bounds. Hard to tell initially who that ball went off of, but the call was immediately that it went off of St. Francis. 14 to shoot. Holy Cross inbounds from the baseline. Into Miller. Nate Miller, 7 on the shot clock. Looking around, finds Washington. His pass deflected right back to him. Washington freed up for a shot, and he pushes it in. Big break right there for Holy Cross, as it looked like St. Francis had come up with a stop, but the deflection went right back into the hands of Washington, who ended up with an open shot out of the whole ordeal. Howard around the screen. Stops and passes out to Badalassi. Cross court, Ryan Peter for 3. Good, Ryan Peter. Saints are within 14. 62-48, 7:45 to go in the game. Gaines throws it off the foot of Ryan Peter. It'll stay with Holy Cross. Inbounded to Miller. Pull-up jumper from the foul line. Gaines knocks it down. Suddenly Jordan Gaines is heating up. He's got 8 points in this game. He's keeping Holy Cross ahead by a substantial margin. Peter over to Howard. And a moving screen called against Ian Morrison. First foul of the game on the big man. What a costly turnover. Second foul of the half on St. Francis. Miller over to Gaines. Now it's Croson, stripped by Peter and picked up by Ian Morrison. Nice quick hands there from Ryan Peter. Peter thought about the 3, passes inside to Badalassi instead. Badalassi nearly throws it away, but it is pulled in by Howard. There's Morrison against a double team. Ian Morrison backing in, passes out to Howard for 3. In and out, rebounded by Gaines. Big stop for Holy Cross. That would have been a huge 3 for the Fighting Saints. Jimenez tries for 3 on the other end, and he drains it. It's a 6-point turnaround in a matter of seconds. That is a killer for the Fighting Saints. The lead for Holy Cross back to 19. It was 21 at the half. St. Francis has cut it down to as small as 13 in the second half. Antonio Hughes pulls up, throws it away, intercepted by Jimenez. And suddenly, after they hadn't been all game, turnovers are starting to become a problem for the Fighting Saints. Croson spinning around. Now he puts the ball on the floor himself, drives on Badalassi and called for the charge. Bryce Croson whistled for the foul. His first, it is the team's 6th. Next foul will send the Saints to the free throw line. Jordan Gaines checks out after a good run. Helped extend the lead. Some wet spots on the floor, so they're going to wipe those up before we continue play. 5:53 to go in this game. St. Francis trails by 19, trying to win back-to-back games for the first time in over a month. Terrion Howard across the timeline. Passes over to Ian Morrison. Howard around the screen, fires the jumper, no good. Starting to slip away from St. Francis here after a good run opened the half and got them back in the game. Jimenez another three, no good this time. The rebound to Howard. Hughes whips it across to Peter. Peter tries for three. That misses. Rebound tapped to Washington. Quick possessions for the Fighting Saints that are coming up empty. Has not been the recipe for success here. Brackett. Jimenez bounces low to Washington. An easy layup for Jamari Washington. And now Holy Cross is pulling away again. Their lead is back to 21. It has been as much as 26. There's 25 at halftime. Morrison down low to Badalassi. Turnaround, no, but a foul. 4:33 to play in the second half. Badalassi's going to the free throw line. Storm Cook called for his first foul, team 7th. Saints are in the bonus, but this is a shooting foul, so he'll get 2 attempts. First one is good. Nice game for Badalassi. He's got 13 points today. Make it 14. St. Francis takes a full timeout, trailing 69-50 late in the second half. Fighting Saints 10-16 overall, but the biggest thing of importance to them right now is the conference record. Trying to get into the top 8 in the CCAC to get themselves a conference tournament bid. Right now, they are 1 game behind Olivet Nazarene and Robert Morris, who are tied at 8 and 9. Saints are also tied with St. Ambrose at 7 and 10. You figure with 3 games left, including today, coming in, they got to go a minimum 2 and 1 to have any shot, and 3 and 0 really to have any confidence at all that that'll be good enough to get them there. So this is a setback so far. This one's not over, but it's going to take a huge run for them to get back into this game and pull off the upset at this point. Holy Cross entered play today 4th in a tie with Cardinal Stritch in the CCAC. Cardinal Stritch today is at St. Ambrose, so Fighting Saints are rooting for Cardinal Stritch in that game, and Holy Cross is rooting for St. Ambrose. Conference tournament begins in about a week and a half. Wednesday, February 21st will be the conference quarterfinals. St. Francis still hoping to be a part of that. They will not have a game at home. They know that for sure, but could be playing somewhere next Wednesday night. Holy Cross ball against a full court St. Francis press. Brackett gets it into Miller, and Miller beats the pressure. Round to the right side, Jimenez, down low, Washington. Jamari Washington kicks it out to Jimenez, who drains another three. A game-high 17 points now for Robbie Jimenez. Antonio Hughes drives, pulls up, passes out, Badalassi for three. Short. Badalassi has struggled from the outside today, but the Saints will get the ball back as Holy Cross couldn't bring the rebound in and off of someone's hands out of bounds. Antonio Hughes looking for Ian Morrison. The pass, though, is deflected by Jamari Washington into the hands of Nate Miller. Cook to Washington at the free throw line. To the outside, it's Brackett. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Storm Cook hands it off. Round to the left side. This is Miller. 3 seconds to shoot. Jimenez fires a three off the mark. And a loose ball foul called on Ian Morrison. Jostling with Jamari Washington for positioning there. Morrison called for his second foul. It's the team's third. Inbounds play for Brackett off the back of Badalassi, and he picks up the assist to himself. He threw it off the back of Pietro Badalassi, came back inbounds to catch it and laid it in. This is Badalassi. Handing off to Peter. Inside Ian Morrison. Morrison turnaround, lays it in. Morrison's got 17. Only 4 of them, though, since halftime. Good pass down low to Brackett. Jimenez finds Trayvon Brackett, who lays in another. He's got 20 points. Holy Cross just having fun out there right now. Their lead is 24. Ryan Peter to Ian Morrison, stripped from Morrison, and that's a foul on Jimenez. Morrison will go to the line for a 1-and-1.
Number 23, Robbie Jimenez, his first team's 8.
Ian Morrison has 17 more points tonight. He's the team's leading scorer at 16 points per contest. So he makes the front end of the 1-and-1 and get one more shot. Morrison's also the team leader at 7.2 rebounds per game. That's on both free throws. Hasn't rebounded quite as well today. But he's been once again very efficient with the basketball. And Jimenez tries to dunk it, but he misses. Holy Cross had beaten the press. They come up empty though. Hughes in the corner for three. That rattles home. Nice 5-point turnaround right there for the Fighting Saints. Still trailing by 19. And a timeout called by Holy Cross. 2:05 to play in the game, 76-57. Holy Cross leads St. Francis. It's a full timeout. Fighting Saints have 2 more games after today. They are both at home. And at home so far this year, though, they've actually struggled 4-8 at home compared to 5-7 on the road. 6-8 on the road if you include neutral sites. But they'll finish up the year against Olivet Nazarene on Wednesday, and then St. Ambrose next Saturday. So the 2 games that they still have left are both against teams they're competing with for the final spot in the CCAC tournament. So that's good. But they've got to win those games. This was a big one today, and they were blitzed really by Holy Cross, who seemingly could not miss a shot in the first half. They shot 65% from the field in the first half of play. Haven't been quite as hot in the second half. In fact, St. Francis was able to go on a little run. They cut the 25-point halftime deficit down to as few as 13. But Holy Cross has responded nicely. And so here we are at 76-57 with just over 2 minutes to play in the game. Pietro Badalassi, Ryan Peter, Darian Howard, Ian Morrison, Antonio Hughes are on the floor for St. Francis coming out of the timeout. Holy Cross basketball up against the press. They're able to beat it once again. Jordan Gaines out in front of the pack, and Pietro Badalassi does a nice job of getting back on him and preventing the breakaway. Badalassi picks up a foul, trying to take the ball away from Gaines there. Still had 3 fouls to give, so now they still have 2 more after that one. So no real harm in going aggressively for the steal. Miller over to Gaines. St. Francis has only committed 8 total fouls in this game, 4 in the first half, 4 in the second. Brackett down in the corner. 20 points so far in the game for Trayvon Brackett. Gaines under 10 seconds on the shot clock, loses control. And Morrison there to scoop up the loose ball. Morrison passes to his left, and Ryan Peter wings it across to Antonio Hughes. And back in the hands of Peter. Bounce down low to Badalassi, out to Howard for 3. Comes up short, and the rebound goes to Jordan Gaines. Robbie Jimenez thought about the 3. No sense in rushing it at this stage of a 19-point game, though. Gaines over to Brackett. Outside Jimenez, and Jimenez walked. Final minute of play now, 59.3 seconds showing on the clock. St. Francis trying to make it a little closer here in the last minute of play. Howard over to Peter. Ryan Peters played big minutes in this one. Here's Pietro Badalassi, backing it outside the arc. Passing off to Terry and Howard. Antonio Hughes, step back 3, short. And the rebound goes to Washington. Holy Cross will get probably their final possession of the game right here. About 7 seconds separate the shot and game clocks. And Holy Cross will take their time. Jamari Washington at the foul line, passes outside. This is Jimenez with 5 to shoot. Jimenez is just going to let it go, I think. Now finally to 1 second, he fires a long 3. No good, but an offensive rebound for Brackett. And that's how this game will end. No, they call a shot clock violation? They got the shot off clearly before the violation, so they are going to run the clock again and let it go down to 0. That's one you don't see every day. They had stopped the clock. The referee said no, he got the shot off. They just started the clock again. No real harm done in a 19-point game. Holy Cross defeats St. Francis today by a final score of 76-57. A disappointing outcome for the Fighting Saints. They fought hard in the second half, but just too much Holy Cross shooting, especially from the outside early on in this one, was the undoing of St. Francis. They trailed 26 points in the first half. They were down by 25 at halftime. And even though they played very well in the second half, cut the deficit down to 13, and overall outscored Holy Cross by 6 points in the second half, it was not enough to overcome a lopsided defeat at the hands of the visitors from South Bend, Indiana. Again, 76-57, the final here. And that means that St. Francis falls to 7-11 in conference, so they will not have an opportunity to get back to 500 in conference play this year with just 2 games left. They're now 10-17 overall for the season. Holy Cross improves to 17-11. They are now 11-7 in conference play, so it was probably going to happen anyway, but they have officially locked up a spot in the conference tournament, and they are just battling for seeding at this point now. So nice work by Holy Cross. They've had a good season out there for head coach Mike McBride, and a good win today. You look back at the first half, and that's when this game was won. For Holy Cross, first half, they shot the ball at a 65% clip, 8 of 14 on 3-pointers. They ended up with 4 guys scoring in double figures in the game, even though, again, not nearly as well shooting the ball in the second half. But 20 points in the game overall for Brackett, 17 points for Jimenez, 14 for Jamari Washington. And they got a nice effort as well from Storm Cook, who certainly makes it on the first team all-name team in the CCAC. And he scored all 15 of his points on 5 3-pointers in the first half. St. Francis was led by Ian Morrison, 19 points for Ian Morrison. Pietro Badalassi came to life in the second half as well. He started out with just 2 points in the first half, but after the break, he came out and scored 12 more, shot the ball extremely well, particularly from the inside. They did a nice job of getting the ball to their 2 big men inside, Badalassi and Morrison. Those 2 guys did good work in the paint, but the outside shooting once again just wasn't there for St. Francis. They averaged to score 70 points per game on the season, but just didn't get the shooting going early enough today, and they finished with just 57 in this one. Still 2 more home games coming up for the Fighting Saints, and we'll have both of the broadcasts for you right here through the St. Francis YouTube page or through GoFightingSaints.com. You can find the broadcast on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock when they take on the Tigers of Olivet Nazarene in the penultimate game of the regular season. So please join us for that one. That's the next time that we will be here to check out St. Francis basketball. St. Francis against Olivet Nazarene Wednesday night at 7. That's going to do it for this game, though. Holy Cross defeats the Fighting Saints 76-57. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Good night, all.